ain't know what type of monster he was.
Lauren?
No, I'm saying Lauren introduced me to Puff.
Oh, got you.
I mean, I knew Puff, but it was more of a personal relationship after, you know, we was at Cassie's birthday.
And like Nip had no ego. So you know what I'm saying? Like Nip came to me and said, I want you to mentor me, you know, I want to get into real estate, I want you to teach me all your, you know what I mean, like your business secrets, you know what I'm saying? I was like, whenever you got questions, pull up. And then on his last album, people do not know this. Somebody tried to jerk me, but I fixed it. I actually am one of the executive producers of Nipsey Hussle's last album.
Victory Lap.
Yeah,
Jury selection's been amazing. The candidates are being asked about their own connections to or impressions of an array of celebrities. And with no explanation why, at least not yet. The parlor games have begun, my friends. Everybody is trying to connect the dots between the shiny, famous names and the beleaguered rap star Diddy.
Went to a seminar about death.
Okay, you have to tell. Well, you're just telling me this now.
I know, yeah.
Please share. Why?
I have a friend.
Why were you there, and what did you learn?
I learned that no one really dies, and that, you know, it's just an experience in the physical form, and we're attached to our personalities, but that we're just souls, and that we continue and continue and continue.
Let's spill the tea on today's biggest celebrity stories. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to get your daily dose of scandal and glamour. Diddy's crew just dropped some explosive tapes involving Lauren London, and it's sending shockwaves through the internet. Word is, the footage hints that she might have played a role in Nipsey Hussle's death. Allegedly, the streets are buzzing, saying she could have snitched on Nipsey, her own baby daddy. And if that's true, then this whole tragedy might have been a setup from day one. Now, if you've been keeping your ear to Hollywood's underground chatter, this won't catch you off guard. There's been whispers for months about some wild footage being passed around. Clips showing A-listers caught up in Diddy's twisted world. But these aren't no innocent party reels. Nah, this is next-level stuff. We're talking secret recordings of illegal moves, wild freak-off parties, and shady dealings that could ruin careers overnight. And get this, many of these celebs had no clue they were being filmed. Industry veterans like Jaguar Wright and Gene Deal have been screaming from the rooftops for years, warning everyone that these tapes existed and that it was only a matter of time before they came out. And now, that moment is here. With Diddy officially on trial, everything's crumbling. More big names are getting dragged into the mix, tied to his dark empire, his freaky inner circle, the private rituals, the secret deals. The worst part? Most of the celebs being called out ain't even denying that they were at Diddy's parties. That silence, it's louder than a confession. What folks are denying? Sticking around for those after parties where things got real dark. But let's be honest, you don't keep showing up to the same spot if you think it's shady, unless you're part of the twisted circle. And guess who just got dragged into the courtroom drama on day one? Lauren London. Yep, her name came up during jury selection for Diddy's trial, alongside other big names like Kanye West and Cassie. Now everybody's asking, why was Lauren's name even on that list? What's the connection? And with all the whispers tying her to the wild theories about Nipsey Hussle's death, it's got people looking at her sideways. Was she really down for Nip? Or was she possibly playing both sides the whole time? Could she have been holding back something major? Here's where it gets even wilder. The streets ain't buying that Nipsey's death was just some random tragedy. No way. Now the word is, it was a planned hit, a calculated takedown, a power play. Because Nipsey, he wasn't just another rapper chasing fame. He was moving like a boss, refusing to bow down to the industry elites. Allegedly, he wasn't following the rules the gatekeepers laid out. He had his own plans, his own money, and real influence. And for certain folks at the top, that kind of independence is a threat. Then right after Diddy got arrested, the whole story started falling apart. And boom, new allegations dropped, saying Diddy himself might have been the one who ordered the hit on Nipsey. It's a mess, and it's only getting messier. Let's not forget, Nipsey was only 33 when he got gunned down in broad daylight, right in front of his Marathon store on March 31st, 2019. The man took at least 10 shots, no mercy. Yeah, Eric Holder was arrested and slapped with a 60-year sentence, but the street's been talking for years. Eric was just the fall guy, the one who pulled the trigger, not the one who gave the order. See, real ones believe there's someone way higher up behind all this, and that's when Diddy's name starts bouncing around. Jaguar Wrights be screaming it loud. saying Diddy allegedly had knowledge way deeper than he's been letting on. But hold up, it gets even messier. Word is Diddy didn't pull this off solo. Allegedly, he had someone close to Nipsey, real close, feeding him inside info. Someone who could slide in undetected, no red flags. And now, all eyes are landing on Lauren London. Yep, people are starting to say she wasn't just the grieving partner. She might have been playing a whole different role. There's even talk that Nipsey himself dropped hints during his interview on The Breakfast Club while he was still alive, talking about dates, shady patterns, stuff that didn't click until now. Now fans are side-eyeing everything. Was she just the girlfriend, or was she Diddy's plant, keeping tabs on Nipsey, watching his every move, and maybe even steering his decisions without him realizing? It's a chilling thought, but folks are connecting dots fast. The street's been buzzing for a minute about how too close Lauren London and Diddy really were. People saying it wasn't just industry friendship, it was deeper, way deeper. Rumors been flying that Lauren was one of Diddy's mules, or even a so-called yacht girl, just like Young Miami. And now, with her name being pulled into court, folks are connecting all the dots. Old photos just resurfaced, showing Lauren and Diddy looking way too cozy, like more than friends. And who's in the background looking awkward as hell? Nipsey. The man looked like a third wheel in his own relationship. That alone had fans side-eyeing everything. But it gets even weirder. After Nipsey passed, Lauren sat down with Angie Martinez for an emotional interview. But that's when things turned strange. She said it was Diddy who helped her get through the grief. Okay. But then she dropped a quote from him that shook the internet. She said Diddy told her, "Look, boo, you have shown everybody what it looks like to hold a man down and to love him. Now show them what it looks like when it all crumbles. That's your responsibility." Wait, what? That ain't some casual advice. That sounds like something you say when there's a deep private connection. And then came the part that had everybody screaming. Diddy called her Boo, the same nickname Nipsey used for her. That's not just weird, it's straight up disrespectful. And just when you thought it couldn't get more bizarre, Lauren casually mentioned to Angie that she attended a death seminar, a whole event focused on grief. Now why was she preparing like that? Fans aren't letting this slide. Something's off. Even before Nipsey passed, things were already looking suspicious. During that interview, Angie Martinez straight up looked confused when Lauren mentioned attending a death seminar. And fans? They were shook. Like, seriously, who goes to a seminar about grief before their man even dies? Unless they saw it coming? It's got people saying she might have known something was about to go down. And the comparisons to Diddy's past moves are hard to ignore. Remember when he bought that gold coffin for Kim Porter months before she died? That alone had people questioning his every move. Now apply that same pattern to Nipsey's situation, and it gets even darker. See, Nipsey wasn't some industry puppet. He was on his independent grind, doing it without the usual Hollywood backers. But Lauren, she had connections, she had access, and once she brought him around Puff, suddenly, Diddy's name was all over Nipsey's business. It didn't take long before Diddy was helping with Victory Lap, Nipsey's biggest album to date. Back then, fans thought it was a major W, but now, people are starting to wonder if it was a setup all along. Even Gene Deal, Diddy's ex-bodyguard, recently came out and said that Nipsey asked Diddy to help put the album together. Now that sounds noble, but in hindsight, it's raising red flags all over again. Was it really support, or was Nipsey being reeled into something he didn't see coming? Victory Lap was meant to be Nipsey's legacy, just like Life After Death was for Biggie. That's the vibe he was going for, something timeless, powerful, something that would live on long after him. But pause for a second. Life After Death dropped right after Biggie got taken out. Now let that sink in. According to Gene Deal, Diddy's ex-bodyguard, letting Diddy get involved with Victory Lap was Nipsey's biggest mistake, because once Puff had his foot in the door, he didn't let go. Diddy got his hooks in deep. And next thing you know, Nipsey was spending more time at Diddy's mansion than his own studio. That's when everything started to shift. Fans noticed it. Nipsey started looking drained, stressed out, like he was carrying a weight no one else could see. His moves changed. His energy was different. And now, the theory is that Diddy saw Nipsey as a threat, a smart, self-made leader from the streets who wasn't playing by Hollywood's rules. And when you can't control a man like that, you eliminate him. But here's the thing. Somebody had to unlock that door, and more fingers are pointing straight at Lauren. So now the question is burning. What did she really know? Because now those alleged tapes tying her to Diddy's inner circle are floating around, And the narrative is flipping fast. Was she just mourning Nipsey? Or was she trying to bury the truth with him? Now that the trial's officially underway, and Lauren's name is on the court's radar, we might finally get the answers folks been dying to hear. And let's be real, Diddy's trial isn't just dragging him down, it's dragging a whole web of celebs, secrets, and lies with it. With every new court session, more names keep popping up, and now the streets are saying Lauren might not be the only one facing serious questions. This thing runs deep. Word is, investigators have been looking into Diddy's secret properties, private flights, coded messages, and even hidden surveillance footage. And with all the digital footprints and whispers being exposed, there's growing talk that some celebs might have been pressured or even blackmailed to stay quiet. If these alleged tapes are as wild as insiders claim, then we're talking about a full-blown Hollywood scandal. Lauren's name keeps circling because of how close she was to both men, Nipsey and Diddy. That puts her right in the center of everything. She was the bridge between two completely different worlds. Some believe she got caught up in something bigger than her, but others think she may have known way more than she let on. Insiders even say she's been dodging questions behind the scenes, avoiding media, staying low while the legal team sorts through connections, call logs, and financial records. And remember, she hasn't made any major statements since her name was brought into the courtroom, just silence. And that silence? It's making folks even more suspicious. If the court ends up using these alleged tapes as evidence, and if Lauren appears on any of them, this could change her entire narrative overnight. Fans are watching closely, waiting to see if she's just a grieving partner or a key piece in something way darker. Behind closed doors, insiders say the courtroom's heating up real fast. Diddy's legal team is fighting hard to block certain tapes from being submitted, claiming they're unlawfully obtained and prejudicial, but prosecutors ain't playing. They're reportedly planning to drop bombshell footage that could flip this whole case upside down. And here's where it gets crazy. Sources say some of these tapes don't just show wild parties, they allegedly reveal conversations, deals, and even possible confessions tied to major industry figures. Word is, Lauren's face shows up in more than one of these videos, and it's not just background shots. We're talking private convos, side whispers, moments that could raise serious questions. Now fans are split. Some are still defending Lauren, saying she's being dragged for no reason. Others think her silence is calculated, that she's laying low while the walls close in. And when it comes to Diddy, people ain't surprised anymore. The man's been surrounded by rumors for decades, but this could be the end game. Insiders are whispering that a few big-name celebs are already panicking, hiring crisis managers, scrubbing socials and distancing themselves from Diddy like he's radioactive. And guess what? A few of those names were close friends with Lauren too. Coincidence? That's up for debate. But if these tapes hit the public, or worse, the jury, everything could collapse, not just for Diddy, but for anyone tied to the mess. And Lauren? If she's in those tapes saying anything shady or secretive, she won't just be answering to the court, she'll be answering to everybody watching from the outside. And just like always, the internet exploded with opinions. People online ain't holding back anymore. One user said, if Nip was a coward like the rest who sold out to Diddy and the devil, he'd still be alive. But he stood tall, stayed true, and that's why they took him out. They believe Nipsey's loyalty to God cost him his life. The man refused to fold, and that's what made him dangerous to the powers that be. And in the mix of all this, Lauren London's name stays in the fire. A known spiritual reader named Aida, who claims to see into the underworld, even said Lauren had a fair hand in what happened. According to her, Lauren wasn't supposed to receive that money, and people are pointing at that Puma deal she landed right after Nipsey's death like it was all part of a bigger plan. Then it gets darker. Claims flying that Diddy and Jay-Z are out here doing life swaps and stealing souls. Real or not, that kind of talk is spreading fast, and it's adding more heat to Lauren's situation. One fan said, her grief looked fake. We cried more for Nip than she did. I never even met the man, and I felt it in my chest. She posted that dry message like she cared, but where were the tears? Another commented, no one that strong would act that cold after losing their soulmate. Her vibe, it's off. So the internet's asking the real question now. Was her pain real, or was it just a performance? What do you think? And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to stay in the loop with all the latest tea. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an update, and I'll catch you in the next video.